What's going on, everybody? It's EricRayweather back here, and we've got some big Madden 21 news. We've got updates on updates coming soon, and I'm going to clue you guys in on everything that's coming. Various game modes. Of course, the big franchise update is coming within the days as well. So we're going to go over all of that in today's video. Make sure you're completely caught up to date on what's going on with Madden 21. Also, what to expect in terms of when can we start hearing some stuff about next gen. Now, if you're new to the channel, however, and you always want to be up to date on the latest Madden news, make sure to subscribe, turn on the bell icon so that you never miss any of these uploads when they go live, specifically for the next gen release of gameplay and features and stuff like that is going to be coming very shortly. Now, it's actually been like over 2 weeks since the last Madden 21 update. In fact, by the time the next big update comes out, which should be later this week, it's going to be about 3 weeks since the last update, which is kind of crazy for Madden 21 because at a point in time, Madden 21 was pretty much every 10 days to 2 weeks was getting a new update like clockwork. You know, it's been the most updated Madden. There's been a ton of problems. There's still a ton of problems, and we got next gen on the horizon, and we haven't really heard much about that yet. So the first order of business is the first official big franchise update is on its way. Now, a few days ago, somebody actually hit up one of the EA developers, one of the franchise guys on Twitter, and they asked, when do you plan on releasing the franchise update? And he responded, mid-November. Now, obviously it's early November, it's November 2nd, but the thing to note here is usually when EA does give any type of a time frame or like a timeline on something, they usually go kind of worst case scenario, and it usually winds up coming a little bit quicker than what they normally say. There's been times where they said we're getting an update, you know, third week of the month, and it comes within the first 10 days of the month and stuff like that. You know, there's been times they've said middle of the month and it comes during the first week. So we know that there's updates coming this week because they talked about them this morning. There's a bunch of various updates for various modes rolling out this week, a new season update. So I would expect the next title update to have the franchise mode updates that franchise has been waiting for. Now remember, this is the first of 3 updates that franchise mode will be getting on current gen this year, and I would expect the next gen version to include these updates as well because it only makes sense. So in case you want to know what's coming in that franchise update, EA did release this information. A lot of you might have overlooked it, didn't know about it, maybe you've even forgotten about it at this point. So the first planned franchise mode update, this is what you can expect. There's 4 things coming here. The first is the X Factor / Superstar ability customization, something that franchise people have been asking for since the abilities were implemented last year. Honestly, in my opinion, this is something that should have just been in the game when they put this in. It's one of those no-brainer things that sometimes EA just skips over for some reason. So it says here, the highly requested feature by the community allows commissioners to assign X Factors to any player via the Edit Player feature. Once a player has met the criteria to unlock an X Factor ability, commissioners will be able to edit their player's Superstar abilities and Superstar X Factor abilities by selecting from those available within the position group. Users will have control over this functionality in both offline and online franchises. I do think that's a good addition, but again, the problem is this should have just already been there, and waiting for this update for franchise fans, it's kind of like, you know, we're waiting for something that should have really just been there. The second thing here is definitely something I think is good. Another thing that should have been there and people have been asking for is the player card career stats user interface. It says here, a top community request for several years now, the team is revamping the statistics on the player card to include more context and season stats like week, opponent, and outcome, while also providing what team the player was on for every year of their career. This used to be in the game many years ago when they did kind of that revamp of like connected franchise, which made it worse. I believe in Madden 13 is when this started. A lot of this stuff got wiped, and it's, you know, here we are Madden 21 almost a decade later, and they're just putting it back in. So that is coming in the mid to early November next big update. Number 3 is the dev trait regression tuning. It says here, the team is doing tuning work to player development traits in franchise mode to ensure proper balance of Superstar and X Factor players when progressing multiple years in a franchise. So that is one of the updates coming for franchise mode. I'm not 100% sure exactly what this means. I think when you talk about the dev trait for each position group, you've got like normal, star, Superstar, and X Factor. I guess, you know, just it's going to be tuned better going forward. Maybe I don't play a lot of franchise, so maybe that's been an issue for a while. And then the fourth thing that they're adding in this mid-November update for the game for franchise is going to be the playoff bracket. It says a visual playoff bracket will be added into the game that reflects the new wild card format, allowing users to see the full playoff picture. So we have the new wild card format this year where we have 7 teams going in on each conference instead of just 6 teams. They're going to have a bracket that lets you know what's going on throughout the playoffs. I thought this was something that was kind of just like, I don't really see how this moves the needle. But when I said that in a previous video a while back, there were a lot of people, saying on the contrary, this is actually something that they really want, and it is a big deal. So again, I don't play a lot of franchise, so I'm not completely in tune. To me, this didn't sound like a big deal, but some people were making a big deal out of it. So that is the first round of franchise mode updates. There are going to be 2 more. They haven't given dates on that yet, but I would imagine probably December, January for the next one, and then probably February, March for the last one if I had to guess. But that's what we can expect there. Now, in terms of other updates for the game, we have a Mutt draft update, which is the mode where you draft, a team and you play against somebody else's drafted team. This gets updated various times throughout the year. They are adding new players to the player pool, which is kind of the biggest thing for this mode. When you're not updating that player pool, the mode gets extremely stale. So on Wednesday, November 4th, a couple days from now, they are going to update the player pool with Team of the Week players, the latest legends, the latest heavyweights players, the latest players from the 50 promo, and the latest players from the first part of the most feared promo. So if you are a Mutt draft player, expect Wednesday that player pool is going to get significantly updated. Now, another big thing that's coming is Season 2 for Madden is kicking off, and that is planned for Thursday the 5th. Now, this is something that Madden is doing that's kind of new this year, where it's something you're kind of familiar with if you play Fortnite or stuff like that, where they have these season updates, because now a lot of these games are kind of acting, not only as just a game, but it's a live service, and with that comes these seasons where they roll out different things for each season. We've been in Season 1 since pretty much the first week of kind of the NFL season. That's when it kicked off. They're ready to kick off Season 2 on Thursday. Now, what exactly does that mean? We don't know 100%, but usually, especially for the mode like the Yard, they're going to definitely have some updates there, as they did in the first season, where they added like a new location that you could play at. They added a lot of new gear and stuff that you can earn. So I would expect them to do the same thing, putting new players into that player pool, new locations, new gear. If you are a Yard player, I think for a lot of people that mode might have kind of died out a bit by now, but if you are playing it, expect something coming with that on Thursday for Season 2. The Madden level, that is something that was new that was put into the game this year. Usually something with that is going to, maybe they're going to increase the Madden level. They're going to add more things that you can unlock via the Madden level with Season 2. Usually for Ultimate Team, it also means that they're going to be kicking off some other stuff too, which is kind of the next thing, is the Series 3 update for Ultimate Team is the next day, which is on Friday. So usually with a new season for Madden, they're going to also kick off a new series for Ultimate Team, which is like the Ultimate Team level gets increased. There's new rewards to earn. There's usually new sets, new players, and just all kind of new stuff like that. So that's coming Friday. So you can see pretty much every day of this week, there's something going on. Pretty much outside of that, that is going to be the main part of the updates, but the next title update is the one we're really kind of focused on, where it's going to have the franchise improvements, probably some other changes and fixes to the game, as we've seen a lot of other things kind of running wild that need to be addressed. And then, of course, the next gen news. From what I've been hearing, we can expect within the next couple of weeks to start hearing more about next gen. I'm talking, gameplay trailer, maybe a gameplay deep dive, maybe more features outside of the features that we've already heard. I'll link below the features that we do know as of now. We have a decent amount of small features that they've already talked about. I did a video on it recently. That'll be linked below if you haven't seen it. But that's going to be it for today's video. Let me know what you think below. And as always, I will see you guys next time.